Welcome back, True Seeker. Breaking news. Rick Derringer of the McCoys, dead at 77. And if you've ever heard the oldies rock station, you probably heard their cover of Hang on Sloopy. I remember being a little kid listening to this in my mom's car when we'd clean houses. And I was always like, what kind of name is Sloopy? But reading about the song, I found out it's an anthem for the state of Ohio and specifically Ohio State University, who won the college football championship this year. And don't forget who told you that was coming the day Johnny Gaudreau died. Anyhow, RIP to Johnny Gaudreau and his brother. Notice that from his August 5th birthday to his Memorial Day, May 26th death, the news breaks one day after, it was exactly 42 weeks. And his band, the McCoys, has the Gematria 42. And again, if you're new here, look up the song Gematria, the Killing Name, and also look up the song Murder by Numbers by the Police, where killing's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. Again, there's 4 base ciphers of the English language, the alphabetic order where it is ABC is 1, 2, 3, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology applied. The McCoys equals 42 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse and apply numerology to each letter. The song by the McCoys, Hang On Sloopy, will turn 60 years old this July. And for the record, just the name Sloopy itself also has the 60 connection. But as for this song being an anthem for Ohio, it's classified as Ohio's official rock song. From the state of Ohio's birthday, March 1st, until his death, May 26th, was 86 days later. His name, Rick Derringer, is 86, like blood sacrifice is 86, like human sacrifice is 86. We see this a lot in the world of celebrity. You might have seen the recent interview with James Comey after his 86-47 remarks where he said he never knew that 86 meant to get rid of. Can you imagine being, who doesn't know? God, I just can't stand TV and news and politicians and just being lied to. Who doesn't know what 86 means who's as old as James Comey? This guy was the head of the FBI and he wasn't aware of the term 86. I mean, please. But yeah, this stuff is so commonplace when you pay attention. I was just listening to this moron online talk about why he didn't have children because of how the Susan Smith story impacted him when he was younger. And I remember I was a child in church, and we had an emergency meeting for our church to talk about this Susan Smith story. She was the woman who drove her car into a lake and killed her children and blamed it on a black man, if you recall this story. I just had to go back and look at this story just right before the Rick Derringer news broke, and I said, look at that. She did it on the day leaving, 67 days left in the year, drove her kids into the lake, and her name's Susan Leigh Smith equals 67. Again, if you run it forwards, blood sacrifice and human sacrifice equals 67. Like Susan Leigh Smith, you run it in reverse, it's 86. She drove her children into the water. She admitted to her lies on November 3rd. News media propaganda, psychological operations, it takes on a whole new meaning when you learn this code. Again, 113 comes from the Talmud. It has to do with lying. This long list of words that have to do with dishonesty are all 113, like she admitted to her lies on November 3rd. But yeah, psychological operations, they do have an impact. Again, just listen to a man this morning talk about why he doesn't want children because of that story from the 90s. Another one in the world of entertainment bites the dust. For the record, he died 127 days after Ohio State won the championship. That's the 31st prime. 31's a bit like March 1st, the day Ohio was founded. 31's the 11th prime, and of course, football is the game of 11 on 11. Remember, Johnny Gaudreau was sacrificed for that season, playing for Columbus at the time. Columbus equals 25, where Ohio State is, who wins it in 2025. He wore 13, Johnny Gaudreau. Ohio State, every college football playoff game was a 13 ritual, keeping teams on 13 wins for the year and then keeping Notre Dame on 13 championships. And by the way, there's been a lot of deaths connected to Ohio State since they won it. Jody Vance, she died 38 days after the inauguration and Ohio State winning the championship. Remember, J.D. Vance went to Ohio State. He was part of the inauguration that day. Former Ohio State defensive tackle Donovan Munger died shortly after the championship, a month later. Just days after the championship, on the 43rd day of the year, when football equals 43, like killing, like Masonic, like RIP, Ohio State announced 2 former players' deaths, and consider that was just days after the championship game was played. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure Rick Derringer fits into this Ohio State as well as the state of Ohio pattern. So, RIP to Rick Derringer. Thanks again to everyone who hits the like and the share and who helps spread this information. There's too few people doing it. YouTube's clogged up with all the shills and the shitty algorithm that promotes the worst and suppresses the best. So again, thanks to everyone who helps overcome that, which there aren't enough of. Until next time, True Seeker.